All right, we did it. Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. First of all,
Yeah.
this gentleman has a great name, Classic. I'm happy to have Classic Williams on the show. This isn't even my final form. You get a point if you can know who said that or what that's from. I'm going to talk about that. Classic's going to share his journey, and he's going to do some freestyle for us, which I'm very excited about. Welcome to the show, Classic. How are you today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm happy to be here, man. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you too. I got to ask you before we get into all origin story, Classic. Is that a nickname? Is that a name you earned? Is that your birth name? Where does that name come from?
Well, my real name's Charles. It's a name that came up with in high school. Like I was trying to figure out like what kind of rap name I would have, and one of my high school friends, his name's Gary. Shout out to Gary if he's listening. He would always say like that's classic, and I thought that was cool. Because I used to go by like C-Dub, like CW, like Charles Wood CW, but there was already a rapper with that name, so I just changed it to Classic Williams.
I love Classic. I think,
Yeah.
and then it's interesting because it's just a great name. It catches your attention right away, and I love that you own it, which is
Right.
great. All right, so name. I told you about origin story. The audience loves to know about you. So give us a little background on you. They kind of want to know, did you sing and perform as a kid? Were you always musically inclined? Give them a little journey story of how you got here.
Yeah, so I come from a pretty musical family. I would say it kind of runs in my blood. Like my grandfather and all his brothers, they used to actually play in like Little Richard's band, like here in Nashville. So they always used to be.
No way, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. My uncle Carl, he actually played saxophone for Winona Judd and like went like on tour with the Judd sisters and all that. So like music has always kind of been like a part of my life. Like I've always been singing or making up like ever since I was, could talk. So it was just kind of like a natural progression for me. And I grew up like in chorus, like you know what I'm saying, like I sang and like with the church and at school and all that. And I think I really started taking it seriously when like in high school. Like I used to form like a group with some of my high school friends. Like we would pass out CDs. My cousin was a part of the group, and like him and his dad like have a bunch of musical past. Like they own a club downtown in Nashville, or like off Trinity Lane in Nashville.
So cool. In your blood, man.
Yeah, so like we would pass out mixtapes, and I would just rap for anybody that would listen, and it really just kind of like took off more. Like when I went to MTSU, I majored in the recording industry there at MTSU, and just started networking and getting my foot in the door there, and just kind of going from there, doing shows, around Nashville, like off 12th Avenue. Like I would just do all kind of stuff. So it kind of started from there. It just always has just been a part of my life. Like music.
How did you make the transition? Like we were talking before we went live, a lot of kids, most kids have performed, or, people are musically inclined. You love music, especially getting your teenage years. That's one thing, but then to make that your vocation, make that your what you're going to give back to the world, make it your adult thing is different. When did you know as an adult? Obviously, you went to school for that. So you had to make decisions. You knew that was going to be something you wanted to do the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really all about educating yourself and like, honestly, like gaining as much knowledge as you can about what you're trying to do, and networking and meeting people that are, that can help you along the way. Like that's the best way to do it. I mean, because anybody, like nowadays, especially like in the music industry, like you don't have to rely on like a record label. You don't have to rely on anything like that. You just have to have a good team and just, the right amount of knowledge to know what you're doing and put yourself out there. Like, cause half of it really is just, the marketing and crafting your image and being original and all that. So like once you find your sound, then, from there you just have to, cause honestly, there's so many people that are just not even super talented that are like, you know, super on, like they, you know, because they figured out like how to market themselves.
That's
So,
what it is, right? It's to me,
yeah.
yeah, you know, because I have a lot of musical guests that come on, and some I would say have more God-given, gifted talent than others, but
Mhm.
some of them don't need that as much as their social media, their marketing, their branding, the way
Yeah.
that they get their music out, their message out is everything.
Right.
And I've had people on who are beautiful voices. Oh my God, just gorgeous voices that
Mhm.
only know how to sing, have no idea how to market or brand. And so they don't reach as many people. So I
Right.
want to ask you, tell me about your music. Give them an idea of how would you describe it, and then has it evolved as you've gotten past school and past college? Give us a little 411 on that.
Yeah, like kind of like when I tell everybody who like wants to do music, it's like you gotta suck for like a long time. You just have to like just suck and just keep like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I do.
I've been writing songs now to the point where it's like I could write a verse like within 5 minutes, like or less. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I could just freestyle some stuff. It's like you just really have to like really love it and just hone in on it. So yeah, I would describe my music just like, you know, my name, classic. Like I want to make I want to make stuff that's timeless, and I want to make stuff that is unique to me. Like I feel like I'm a very unique individual. Like I don't have like the same stories like a lot of people. So, and I'm all about like being yourself and being your authentic self. So that's how I would describe my music, just like that, and just like being epic. And you know, there's also like, you know, there's a little bit of theater when it comes to hip hop and rapping and music. You have to put a little bit of your charisma out there. So it's like my music's kind of like a lot of grains of truth, but also like just like the exaggerated version of myself, you know?
Do you write everything? Or do you collaborate at all? Do you write it all? And since you write it, what's the motivator? Like, what inspires you? Is it just seeing everyday stuff, seeing the craziness in the world, personal, combination of all of the above?
Sometimes like I'll just make stuff just for fun, and I just want to like bar people up real quick. I just want to like make cool words that rhyme, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of my best songs, I feel like for instance, I have this new song called Memories that's coming out for February the 8th. And that's based on a personal experience, like based on a breakup. Like I like to use a lot of my like personal experiences to, you know, craft the music, because I feel like that's the music that resonates the most with me, and that's the stuff that like I enjoy listening to the most, as far as like, you know, because it's therapeutic for me, and I want to be able to make stuff that helps other people that are going through similar circumstances.
So I have to ask, because you know I'm in a certain demographic, I would say, old white guy. So I think a lot of people don't understand the beauty and the talent that goes into hip hop. I mean, it's basically, for me, telling a story. It's musical poetry. There is a lot of depth and emotion and feeling and experience, I think, that goes into hip hop. Because of the way the genre is, a lot of people don't take the time to listen to it. So what would you say? Would you say that is the number one misconception, that people think it's just loud music where there's a whole bunch of things that they don't understand? That's what I feel like whenever somebody mentions that they're in hip hop, I'll always hear, well, I don't understand what's going on. But in reality, I think it's because you don't take the time to listen.
I think a lot of that is tied into the Black experience. And I mean, that's been going on since, you know, when rock and roll music back in the day, you know, they didn't understand that either, you know?
True. So, it's true.
You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So, I mean, ultimately, like, I feel like Black people are like the curators of most of the cool, like, mainstream things that happen as far as culture are concerned. And, you know, people eventually, like, there's always going to be that demographic of people that don't really understand it, but then, you know, the people that do ultimately push it to the forefront, you know? So it's just like with any other genre of music. I mean, there's, especially like if you want to compare it to anything popular, like there's always going to be like the controversial. There's always going to be like the people that are more artistic with it, and there's always going to be like, you know, the middle ground people that are just here today, gone tomorrow. You know,
yes, lots of those. Lots of those.
It's basically just a mirror to the Black experience, and it's honestly it's the number one, you know, culture dominant driving force as far as music is concerned worldwide now. Like,
well, it's everywhere. And what I encourage people, and then I would love for you to perform for us. What I encourage people to do is to read the lyrics.
Yeah.
Without the music, just Google a lyric of a song that you don't understand and really look at it, because to me it is poetry in its basic form. It's a beautiful type of poetry. It tells a great story. There's so much emotion there, positive and negative, but it's emotion that's real and authentic, which you mentioned before. And so I find that if I encourage people to do that, they're a little more open.
Right.
So I love freestyle. I could do it if my life depended on it. That's why we have talented people like you. So tell us can you give a description of what you're going to do? Describe to them, people who don't know what freestyle even means, what exactly that is, and then let me know when you're ready to go and I'll take myself off.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to like rap, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have a bunch of stuff in my head that like, you know, for instance, like what I'm about to start off with is going to be based off of a song that I have called Supernova. And I'm just going to go off the top, like a cappella, you know, and just see what happens.
All right. So I'm going to take myself off. I'm going to say this only because you talked to me about this earlier. You know, parental, you want to just make sure Classic's going to do what he does. And so if you are easily offended, you don't like words, you may want to mute, maybe NSFW, depending on where you work. But you know, he's going to do his authentic self. I'm going to take myself off, Classic. It's all you.
What up? All right, let's go. Check this out. Bottom of the totem, dreams of living enormous. Bottom when I sold in our lives inside of a tour bus. Swimming against the current with sharks like I'm an orca. Living with the gift and the curse and not being normal. I'm past a quarter life in the living. I've seen it all, but I can see the future. My vision is like an oracle. I press record, my core fans follow my focus. I press the button, my city explodes. Supernova, supernova, my cup runneth over. I shine like the solar. I'm colder than polar. Who wanted with me? It's time for me to take over. I press the button, my city explodes. Supernova. It's funny now. These niggas, they try to count me out. Now I'm counting down the seconds until they fires out. I see it now. These rappers, they try to bite my style, but I double down and came to swinging like Pacquiao. I'm still in it. My story is never ending. Through all the fame, lost lives, and lost friendships. But it appears I finally come to my senses, and then I open my eyes like a fresh pair of lenses. I'm fresh and amazing, a stylist should pay me. Coming from the city where the hood don't play me. Coming from a neck of the woods where niggas hate me. I just know they wish that they could, but they ain't me. Surfing through the streets and the people said I was wavy. Trying to turn a Toyota Coupe to a Mercedes. Hustle to the next life, again the next life. So you want to read the set right? Get your check right, okay? Supernova, my cup runneth over. I shine like the solar. I'm colder than polar. Who wanted with me? It's time for me to take over. I press a button, my city explodes. Supernova, supernova, Armageddon is imminent. Please don't sleep on my temperament. Danger lives in my penmanship. Who wanted with me? It's time for me to take over. I press a button, my city explodes. Supernova. Yeah.
Awesome. And you know, so what I did is I listened. And I think that that's what I want to encourage people to do, because there's a lot of history, a lot of story, a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion, a lot of things that people can relate to, but because they don't pay attention to what you're saying,
right?
They're missing out on that. I loved it. It was great. So is that something you just freestyled that. Tell them where they can find your music, how they can follow you. Guys, creatives like Classic, we need to get behind them. 2020 was crazy. 2021 was now they're back. Now they're doing more like they're really getting back out there, but they need our support. So when you listen to a song, buy it, download it, go to Classic's site, which he's going to tell you about, and support them in a way. Follow them on social media, comment on social media, share them on social media. There's so many ways that you can do that. So tell them the best way they can find you, find your music, find you on social and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. You can find me at www.classicwilliams.com. Need to get a lot of that updated, but it's still got a lot of good content on there. Follow me on Spotify, Classic Williams on Spotify. Follow me on Apple Music, Classic Williams there. Follow me on Instagram if you want to follow me. Look at my daily adventures at Classic Williams, or you can follow me on Twitter at Actual Rapper.
Man, that was really good. I never know. Like I told you, I take myself off, not just because I want to give you front and center, but good Lord, if you're bad, my face won't hide it. We talked about those performers before. So that was really awesome, though. I did
appreciate it, man.
Listen to the music, listen to your words and your story. Guys, there's a story behind everything that Classic does. There's a message and a story. And so let's get out and support creatives like Classic. Go to classicwilliams.com, find them on Spotify, Apple, anywhere, and Twitter and Instagram. And you can reach out to me if you can't find them. I'll get you to them. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you for letting me come on the platform. Appreciate everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Classic Williams, guys.